Straight talk from Israel. You're listening to Israel News Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, this is Orly Davis and this is from Jerusalem with Love. Today is May 26, 2021 and we are here in Israel, the Holy Land, the only Holy Land that God Almighty gave to the world, and Israel is his custodian on holy places and all. By the testimony of the Bible, the book of all books, the Old Testament that gave us the Jewish people the courage and the faith to do God's work, and reflecting upon the belief that the land of Israel is our promised land, and Moses got it directly from Almighty God. And our testimony is the Western Wall and other archaeological facts that are here in Jerusalem just demonstrate our ancestor homeland. But all of this is being challenged by the Arab nation and the plague of war. From the first day we returned home, and the war keep on going, and this is one needed to be answered logically, while Israel under bombarded with more than 4,000 long-range rockets lately. Thank God for Iron Dome and the inventors of it. With God's mercy we overcome it, and now we have ceasefire. But the amount of devastation that Hamas terror organization tried to inject to the land of Israel just reflect the same idea that they say openly as proxy of the Arab nation, that they are hostile to the West. They want to destroy Israel. But only Israel? What makes us so sure that they will stop at Israel? Israel is the wall to stop them from overreaching? The truth must be said, the world is not silent in the fact that our very own existence is in stakes. And the friends and brother of the GOP stand tall with Israel, and the President Biden knows if they not accept the Jewish state, there shall never be peace. But President Biden has the left to handle, and being under constant pressure not to let Israel have a weapon to defend itself and other. Do they really want to destroy Israel? That's question and all we're going to ask today, and we're going to talk to all our friends around, and maybe we get some clues. So stay put, and we'll be back after this.
The return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel was prophesied in the Bible thousands of years ago and is coming true today. Shalom. Join me, Josh Wander, on Israel Unplugged. Listen in as we delve into the spiritual and physical aspects of the Jewish return to Zion. We'll discuss the biblically mandated, historic, and of course practical understandings of this incredible transition from exile to redemption. That's Israel Unplugged, every Monday on IsraelNewsTalkRadio.com.
And we are back. It's Orly Davis, and this is from Jerusalem with Love. I want to say hello to all our friends from around the globe, from United States of America, from Israel, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, India, Indonesia, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. What a pleasure to have you here. You know, you guys, first of all, you in, with Sky News rocked, United Kingdom, you can be proud of them, because when they covered the war, that was really a good coverage, because I could see people who ask real questions and they have a real idea of what's going on. Because people sometimes you feel that they are confused. They don't know who is the attackers and who get attacked and who defend themselves, who attacking in order to kill the other party. So first of all, let's say a prayer with our Italian friends, because in Italy we had a very big devastation where a cable car just in the Alps in the north got touched, and many victims were there. 5 of them were in one family. They all died on that motor car just plunges to the ground. It was horrible. And we have the child, Eitan, that is there recovering, and today he opened his eyes. Just I hope that they didn't bring him the news so fast. After an incident like this, I don't know. He has all his life to recover. God bless him. God bless him. It was very bad, especially after Italy won the Eurovision. Night before, they shouldn't have that news, but I guess that's life. Of course, they have negligence in the process, and people are already in jail because they try to cover up such technical problem with the patches. When you handle people so high and above, you don't patch stuff. You just stop the operation until you fix it. So God bless their soul, and I hope that the child will recover. I hope that we can mend on this. But anyway, let's go back to our story here. We have a few ideas what's going on. First of all, we have a ceasefire since Friday with Hamas, a terrorist organization, with the push of American President Mr. Biden, that sent his envoy, the foreign secretary, to the region. Yesterday, he met with all our, Prime Minister, Foreign Affairs, and Defense Minister, whoever was a opposition leader too. And now he's in Egypt doing his tour. I hope that it talked Turkey to them, because whatever happened in the last, 2 weeks ago could not happen ever again. To attack Jerusalem is something that nobody can overcome, especially when Jerusalem is the holy city to all the world. I don't understand how they can even not mention it. But let's assume that they gave us all sort of excuses about why they attack, why Hamas is thinking that he's defender of the faith all of a sudden. If killing is a faith, I guess that's their story. And I just wonder about the DNC, the Democratic Party. Are they confused? I'm sorry. Are they confused about terrorism? Because some idea that we hear all over again, that the people who use killing as method to eliminate people of the book, the Jewish people, are being supported by the DNC. The question is asked, why to support them? Why do we have a pro-Palestinian people that are actually Palestinian in the House of Congress advocating for Hamas? How can you advocate? And I love the story of underdog, when the Arab nations are a billion people and the Jewish people are only 14 millions all around the globe. People think that we are all over everything. No, people make us the story sometimes because they like to blame us for being successful or being, being bright or getting, ahead or get technological thing. So they use our stuff, they use our methods of being, and then they come and attack us. Think about today. Today, just in Akko, they loot and destroy Jewish stores. As we speak, we have a problem with the Arab Israeli that living here, that being recruited by Hamas organization or other terrorist organization to raise the barrier and to create some kind of storm in the middle of Israel. Now we can face them when they're outside, when they attack us, we can face them. But the problem is that we put our faith with those not our faith is only with God, of course, but we trusted them. We gave them, our business. We come and we cultivate some kind of friendship because they are our brothers, stepbrothers, of course, but they live in the same country, trying to becoming, knowledgeable and progressive, whatever. But they come and stab us in the back. And the problem is that they keep on doing it. And this kind of riots will not be rest. We have Operation Justice, Law and Order right now in the process. Many got arrested, but it doesn't mean that the others don't support them or others don't come around and start their own rioting. Now, they drive like crazy in the highway. They use a lot of big trucks, and they're a danger to others. They use every method possible to endanger us by giving us, they stone us on the highways. And this stoning stuff been forever. And we pretend to go on. But the truth of the matter is, for the last 2 years, from Gaza, they've been bombarded with little small rockets that, burned out, bombs with balloons. And we talk to them, and we still give them money. We still give them supply. And after, this week, after a war that they attacked 4,000 rockets and more, when they attack us and we give them supply, emergency supply. And everybody talking about reconstruction of Gaza. Excuse me, why you have to reconstruct a terrorist organization base? Why don't you evacuate the terrorists first, then you start investing money? I don't know how to reason with you all, but I have to tell you something. First of all the party that support terrorist organization all around the world, that march in the street of everywhere. And, they walk in the street in Europe, and it's scary. They walk about, in tons of people, and they all support a terrorist organization. You all have to wake up, because the idea is that you think that it's against Judaism. You maybe are oblivious to the fact that without Judaism, there is no Christianity, because Christianity came. So if they try to eliminate Judaism, sure enough, they're coming after Christianity. And, in the background, we have to ask, who is sponsoring all of this? Iran? Well, Iran is under sanction, but I know that for a fact that Iran has a very good relation with China, and China taking over the world of commerce is a very well-known fact. And the fact that they use they store their gasoline or whatever oil, and they sell it for them. And in the black market, whatever it is, there is something going on with China, because Iran, with all the sanctions, it doesn't matter that America did not lift the sanction, but there is an underground funding of this criminal organization called Iran that has all this proxy all around the globe, and there is a funding, and we have to call it as it comes. The money comes from somewhere. And I know that the State Department wanted to donate, to give $10 million to people who have information about this. And I called to ask you guys, what do you have there? And nobody answers. So that was in the previous administration. But the story is how they fund this organization, how all those proxy gets their money. And the truth of the matter is we have China. We have a method of payment because China is doing some sort of movie under, I don't know, there is a movie, the movies industry that's going around and rolls some money, I guess, for the Iranian forces. Stuff that is on the net, you can all read it and look for it. But the idea is there is big money and there is big interest. And as we all know, the big interest right now as far as commerce is China. The big money comes there, and the Iranian get it and sponsor terrorism. So I don't know how you think about it, but I think that we all in the world are together in this. So let's go to a break and we'll be back after this.
Hi everyone, this is Andrea Siminto from Jerusalem, inviting you to drop everything and join me on my show, Pull Up a Chair. We'll visit this week's quirky stories, meet fabulous guests, and discover my Israel. Together we'll laugh, shout, and explain the topics that make us say, hey, we've got to talk about that. So get comfortable and pull up a chair with me, Andrea Siminto, every Thursday on Israel News Talk Radio.
And we are back. It's Orly Benny Davis, and this is from Jerusalem with Love. You know, I told you I'm talking truth to power, and I sometimes it sounds like, you know, I don't use really a soft word, but I'm a softie. So, but when you see the truth, you must stand for it. For example, we have the foreign minister of France, Jean-Yves Le Drian. He says that Jewish armed riots show Israel at the risk of a long-lasting apartheid. Now, first of all, I want to say to all these goody two-shoes that talk about living along side by side, one with other, that this is a Jewish state. It means we are Jewish. Now, if you respect our Judaism, you might as well leave, peace, with us. But if you think that you can decide to override us as a Jewish state, you take it with God, because we're doing God's duty. And if you have a problem with it, God help you, because I cannot change the mission of our cause or the mission of our purpose. This is something that came about, we came back after 2,000 years. Don't you think that we know exactly why we're back? Don't you think that we came back because we have a purpose, because God's intention is not to let you be everybody like doing whatever they want, because there is a God, and we have to remind you all. I know that you don't like us to be around because we remind you how bad you are, or if you are good, how much you have to improve yourself, because that's our duty to with us, ourselves first, and then show you an example. I don't know if the Jewish around show any example. Sometimes they're obnoxious too, but the problem is not them. The problem with you all, that you have to understand that the Jewish faith is something that is here to stay. And even as we speak, there was a blast at Iran petrochemical complex who killed two workers, killed a worker and two injured. We remind you all that the chief of the IAEA, it's the atomic agency, I guess, the world one, he says the Iranian uranium enrichment now at the level of country making bombs. You see, if you want to use it for electrical, you don't need to get it to 60%. And that's what he says. And everybody that come to the table and try to reflect maybe on the deal, Iranian deal, and they take the suitcase of money. I can't believe it. Take the suitcase of money and then send you home with empty-handed, because they didn't do anything that they were requested. Of course, they didn't stop, because you see, to stop, they should have been, delayed. No, they are 60% already. We're talking atomic bomb. Now they create a missile also, and they bring it to an idea that they want to bomb Israel, and the problem is that America is in their way too. So I don't know if you saw all those movies about smart bomb running around. This is a story of every other, 007 story. It's about the idea that you are always at risk if you don't clear your mind and answer to your own question. If this fight that the Jewish people fighting is just for fun, or they are upset, they don't have any money, so you give them money, but it's like protection money from the mob, and then you get bombarded anyway. Well, you can appease terrorism. That's something that Ronald Reagan says over again. You never appease terrorism. Terrorism says something that you have to crush. Now, if you decided that it's different from Daesh, ISIS, Hezbollah, and Hamas and Boko Haram, all the organization that is being created, financed by who knows who, and being, profiteers of many other countries that come along and they're cahooting underground with all these bitcoins and all these instruments that they create in order for them to pass the buck around. They have to understand that there is sometimes, the end of that tunnel. Because let me tell you straight ahead, nobody that goes stray will be victorious at the end. There is no such story. They all end up all dead or in jail, or you have to remember, they have all to go to jail eventually if we catch them. But, all method of stopping them is legit. And the story about the policemen in the street right now that are fighting for them, and I'm getting to have some kind of result to stop any kind of rioting, that's our prerogative. We're going to do it until they stop. But you have to ask how many there are in your countries, how many there are in America. What is kind of label they are talking to so-called demonstration that become a riots, then because they're looting, and then, they killed one black guy. Because we all know that Black Lives Matter came from the lecturing of Farrakhan. We heard it. You can, if you find the video, it's all over. The Nation of Islam is something that is very well and alive in Chicago, and they go to other place and they march and they create some kind of rhetoric that Democrat will understand. Then they support. You see, or we have dummies as Democrat, or they are colluding with them, but something is wrong. Now, America is being engulfed in this, and we have no resources as far as the Republican to stop them, because they want to stop, but the Democrats are controlling the White House. Even that Biden is trying his best. But the forces behind them is crazy. The pressure is enormous. How can he ever stop them? And, not in the middle. Also, they try to sabotage Kerry, Iran, trying to sabotage him because maybe he's another good guy that actually can help save the world, because he really believes in peaceful world. But sure enough, people are calling for his resignation, which is sad, because I don't see this guy role ending at this point. However, I know that there are good people in the Democratic Party. The Secretary of State is doing a really good job, is doing his best, and I'm telling you, is a kind man. The only problem is the policy. What is it with you guys opening the consulate in Jerusalem now for the Palestinian? For what state is really in Jerusalem? You're actually helping them create more problem. Don't ever confuse the ideas of your enemies, because you just give them the tool to engage with you. Because whoever ever think that Jerusalem, the capital of Israel for 3,000 years, from King David, that people took over, but we came back. And now we took over again. We came back. And now we negotiate the mosque with Jordan. And Jordan gave it up to Hamas. What do you guys want to do with that? Do you think that they are, do you think that we deserve this kind of response from you all, that you want to put the consulate there? Why to create this two-state solution that and the capital, Jerusalem, East Jerusalem? Are you claiming, let's repeat it, are you claiming that Jerusalem will be divided, the city of God, and be given to a terrorist organization or so-called terrorist cell, because they are sitting on the fence right now waiting, for election to be made, when the Palestinians so-called are, attacking people all over, including in the state of Israel. And you are telling us apartheid? Do you ask ever the Vatican why they don't have Muslim inside? I don't understand. Do you have any Jewish people in the Muslim cities? Why they are not apartheid? How dare you even mention it, to call it France? Tell your foreign secretary to make a tall walk, because he's old. My goodness, and he's forceful. He thinks he's telling the truth. He is out of his mind, because if he thinks that being a Jewish state is apartheid, he doesn't have a clue with the Bible, and God's help him. And I'm telling you, there is a question about being Jewish state after 2,000 years. I'm telling you, there is a purpose. And because there is a purpose, we're going to win. This is our Jerusalem wall, the guardian of the wall. It's about Jerusalem. And we are guarding the wall of Jerusalem. And right now, America, redeem yourself, take back this idea, or push it as much as you can, because the consulate in East Jerusalem, it will be a problem for you forever. If you want God's to be on your side, you're a Christian. How can you support a nation of the terror? Anyway, let's go to a break, and we'll end up the last segment after this.
Are you interested in transforming your life, drawing closer to the Creator, and uncovering the deeper meanings and hidden treasures in the Hebrew Bible?
Then join me, Rav Yitzhak Michelson,
and me, William Hall,
on the Science of Kabbalah, where we are seeking to narrow the gap between what we understand of our physical and spiritual worlds. So make sure to tune in every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Israel time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on Israel News Talk Radio.
Hello, I am Walter Bingham. If you want to hear the news behind the news and the true perspective on world affairs, then the Walter Bingham File is the program for you. We bring you interviews with the movers and shakers, political commentaries, and on-the-spot reports of events as they happen. All here every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Israel time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. And it's all archived on our website. Make it a date.
And we are back. It's Orly Benny Davis, and this is From Jerusalem with Love. I forgot to say hello to our friends in the chat room. Hi, guys. So good. It's so good to have you. Hi, William. Thank you for your comments. You're a treasure. Anyway, the question is asked, why the world is oblivious to the fact that the Arab nation are not planning to seize Jerusalem, and they go. And you guys, if you think that they want to appease them, Think about the Second World War. Think about the First World War. Think about what happened when you appease bad. Anytime you appease bad, you give them more power. Now, to question, I love the Dutch minister that always say that we are the canary in the mine, that once they start attacking us, you better watch out because they poison the air. And it's true. Now, think about the Islam idea. Don't you think that this doctrination of Islam is some kind of supremacy idea? Think about it, because the Islam want to kill all unfaithful people. Now, I'm not talking against any other religion. I'm talking about the one who want to eliminate the Judaism. And if you're a Muslim and you don't do anything about it, and you're a billion, so you give me a break, you can stop them any time of the day, because you can stop them, because there are not so many, after all, as you say, those extremists, as you call them. But once they attack Israel, sure enough, they are marching in the street. Sure enough, all over the world, and you cannot even start counting them. So let's assume. Did you ever think that it's an epidemic of supremacy that our Muslim faith inject to the world right now? Is America under the national of Islam inject Black Lives Matter, and you all are saying it matter, undermining the real issue? Did you know that they want Black America? Do you know that that's their plan? I heard it in my ear from Mr. Farrakhan himself with his when people. They didn't force him to go underground, or they undermined his website, because sure enough, it still have his soldiers all around, right? Now think, we have a moment of truth right now, because we're in Israel. Sure enough, we're not going to give up. Sure enough, I'm sent here to this world, not to just lecture you about how wonderful you are. It's about how wonderful God is, and why we have to help everybody to come closer with God under one blue sky, because we all the same, because we all matter. We all are a product of God. And if he choose you in any other color, he choose you in any other nation, he choose you in any other place in the world, he loves you because you are his creation. And so we are his creation, and he gave us the big portfolio. We have the duty to help us, because we're still far away from being really good, because we didn't have the temple, because, God forbid if we ask the mosque to evacuate. Why? Because they undermine God's will. Because think about it. We were supposed in 1967 to build a temple. That was the rabbi promise. And sure enough, Moshe Dayan, God bless his soul, was a secular Jew, and he wanted to be liberated from this mosque. What I need to do, this is a holy site, forget it, I don't want it. And those Hasidic Haredim say, no, we cannot go there, we're contaminated. They say to themselves, think about it, you got people, a fraction of our Judaism, saying that you're not holy enough. Guys, we didn't come to this nation from the ashes of Holocaust, after 3,000 years, 2,000 years of the diaspora, but we have 3,000 years in history of Jerusalem. We didn't come back to think that we're not holy. We say your product, your march, your walk will make you holy. You want to be holy? You start walking in that. You want to be graceful? Start be graceful. God will help. That's the deal with God. He gives you, he opened the door. Once you want to enter, you just knock. And the fact of the matter that the Muslims decide that they want to use killing of us. Think about it. Just let's talk, holiness, okay? In all this story, when they believe in Moses, that's the audacity of these people, that they're Muslim, that descended, so many years after Christianity, that Christianity was created so many years after Judaism, where Moses got the Bible, the Torah, the book of all books, the Ten Commandments, and we are to march, okay? And you touching the people that's supposed to bring the holiness to the world. You see, it's energy. Look what happened to Europe. They killed the Jews. Now, how many batteries they have left? I call myself, like the engine of a battery. When you have energy, create. For example, when the Jews come in, there is business thing. It's not because we're so smart. It's because our energy. We are supposed to be holy. We're supposed to be graceful. We're supposed to give tzedakah, charity. We're supposed to help each other. And what happens? We are talking, and nobody is listening. You guys understand that Jerusalem is the holy city of God, and you are trying to undermine, again, America, trying to divide them. Do you really want to go that way? Okay, so let me warn you. This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is not something you can fuss with it ever, but ever again. Because if God's will gave us back after we've been punished, okay? We've been punished because we've been undermining, and sure enough, they're punishing. The punishment was gone because we didn't unite ourselves, and all these ego-centered politicians worth nothing that are running the show right now. But we have people here on the ground that are holy. That's what preserved this place. And I tell you for a fact, their intention is never to let you forget that this is a land of God. And once you mess with God, by all means, or you are with us or you're with them. That's Bush sentence. He said that, remember? And I said in holiness, in this holy nation of Israel, the place where God chose to be to hold holy for all the world, I tell you, or you're with us or you are with them. And if you are with them, God help you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I want you to understand that there is no question who is right or wrong. There is only justice that is right. And by the way, that senior advisor, talker of Hamas wants to meet the president of the USA, a terrorist organization. God, help us. Don't let him even get close, because he's he wants to meet the president of the United States. My goodness, a proxy of Iran. Yeah. And we will let them, right? By all means. Then he says, Israel doesn't have to exist. It's like, who's that man? And we still talking, or they sending them? Why to send? Evacuate the place, take all those terrorists away, and let those 2 million people have a life if they want. But they chose Hamas, so they actually the children. Do the children of Boko Haram? Do you think that they are terrorists, or do you think that the children that in the picture of Hamas that holding guns are trained to be great human being or terrorists? Choose. You choose. You're with them or with us. We choose the book of all books, the Torah, the Bible, the Old Testament, the one that give us the guide and the power to overcome this. And this time we want to rebuild the temple. And there is God's will in that. If there is God help in that, we'll build it. So you decide. Withdraw your request to open that consulate. There will be no division of Jerusalem. And not just that, just remember, Jordan is already took a half of our land, supposed land back. from us, and they all 80% are Palestinian. They have a nation. It's called Jordan, and they can bring it. But they don't want to have a nation, because that's when King Hussein that gave Arafat the chance to come. He didn't want to, so that's why he threw them out and killed so many of them. And let's remember, they killed also the King Abdullah I. 1950 in the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So you, King of Jordan, be aware that who you're dealing with, you might burn your fingers. So anyway, God loves you. I love you. I miss you always, all week long. I watched carefully the news so I can give you the best. And then I come and bless you all. Be in peace. God bless you all. Ciao, ciao.
If you love Israel News Talk Radio, then you'll love our Facebook page. We keep you up to date on what's happening in Israel, plus little surprise treasures that we don't share on the radio. Go now to follow us on Facebook. Just look for the Israel News Talk Radio Facebook page, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us by clicking on the like button. We post great stuff there that you'll want to share. Israel News Talk Radio on Facebook and Israel News Radio on Twitter.
If you're hearing this message, everyone else can too. Advertise with Israel News Talk Radio and get your message out to people. We'll build a personalized package for you. Contact advertising at israelnewstalkradio.com.
Straight talk from Israel. You're listening to Israel News Talk Radio.
Hey, this is Jake in Anchorage, Alaska, and I love listening to all the super interesting interviews and up-to-date information on what's happening in Israel.
Hello, this is Anna King, originally from London, now living in Israel. And what can I say? Israel News Talk Radio is my cup of tea.
My name is Bhaskar. I'm from India, and I love listening because you get to know the truth and wonderful voices from this lovely country.
Mom!
Okay, wait a minute.
Hi, this is Chava Dax, and I'm calling for the rolling hills of Ma'ale Adumim, just north of Jerusalem. I always listen to Israel News Talk Radio to get all the latest news and commentary and to keep me up to date every day.
This is Sarah Dax from Ma'ale Adumim, and I'm 12. I wish Israel News Talk Radio was boring so my mom wouldn't listen to it all the time. Mom!
You're listening to Israel News Talk Radio.
News, opinion, and more. You're listening to Israel News Talk Radio.